with another bead weaving tutorial for you today. I don't know what this was, but that's fine. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really cute brick stitch bunny with a flower on her ear or his ear. Super cute, perfect for Easter. And please excuse my obnoxious nails. I am filming this on St. Patrick's Day and I'm going out later this evening. So I thought, let's paint the nails in preparation. And they're obnoxiously green and glittery, but I hope it's not too distracting. Anyway, like I said, I've made this using the technique called brick stitch. It is a bead weaving technique. If you are new to bead weaving, welcome to the club. I have a brick stitch basics tutorial. Apparently that never gets easier to say. Yes, I have a brick stitch basics tutorial in which I teach you the basics of brick stitch, clues in the name, because I don't go through it in the tutorials itself because that would make the videos super long and the people that already know how to brick stitch would find it less interesting. So I have a separate video, brick stitch basics video, so feel free to check that out before you attempt this, because otherwise this tutorial is going to be too quick for you. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the Corner of Craft. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you enjoy it. I post a new weekly craft tutorial, and then I also have a knitting podcast as well. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, feel free to hit that subscribe button and like the video if you're enjoying it. It helps to get my videos out there a little bit. But anyway, you didn't click on this video to watch me waffle on. Let's just get on with the tutorial, shall we? Okay, so to make this cute little bun, you are going to need a size 10 beading needle, some beading thread, and Miyuki Delica beads. I'm using size 11 Miyuki Delica beads today. A list of all of the colors and all of the things that I use can be found in the description box below. So we are going to start on the second row up from the bottom, and we are going to start by ladder stitching 6 white beads together. This is how one starts brick stitch. We are going to leave a tail of around 10 centimeters because that is how we are going to attach the 3 white beads at the bottom once we're done with the rest of it. So yes, I'm just going to ladder stitch away those 6 beads, and my goodness, that nail varnish. It's outrageous, all right. Perfect for today, which is St. Patrick's Day, which is when I'm filming this. Also, I did my makeup all nice for the intro and realized that I'm gonna have to take it off. So, because it's kind of red and I can't have green and red because that makes me look like Christmas. And that's not really the look I'm going for. So yes, those are my ladder stitched beads. So we're going to increase and we're going to stitch. To start with, we're going to pick up 2 white beads and we're going to go into that very first thread bridge, which is how we increase, and I'm sure you're aware of this. And try and get it all lined up and nice and neat and tidy. And then we're going to attach another white bead for 3 white beads in total. And apparently my beadwork doesn't want to cooperate with me, but that's okay. I'm not perfect at the bead weaving. So then I'm going to attach 1 pink bead, which is for his little nose. Ooh, ooh. A little out of practice with beading, apparently. And then I'm going to attach 3 more white beads. And this does mean that into the very last thread bridge, you're going to have to attach 2 beads. Which is fine, and we all know how to do this because we've watched the tutorial. I know I keep talking about it a lot, but you'll be surprised by the amount of people that say that my tutorials are too fast and they've never done it before and they couldn't follow, but I try to explain. I try. So yes, 1 more. Wunderbar. Fab. So going on to the next row, we are going to increase once more. So pick up in a second 2 white beads and go through that first thread bridge because we are going to increase. And then attach a black bead or whatever colour eyes you'd like your bun to have. I went with black. I suppose if you wanted it to be an albino bunny, it could have red eyes, or grey would be a nice colour, or whatever. I just went with black for ease of me having to make the decision. And then attach 2 white beads. Eventually I will get there. And one more black bead in a second. There we go. You're going to need a total of 51 white beads, just so you know. And then you're going to attach 2 more white beads, so 2 beads into the very same thread bridge, just like we did before. I tried to cut out, well, I didn't cut out any of the tutorial because I thought it would make it easier to follow. I sped it up a teeny tiny bit, but I didn't cut any out. So now we're going to decrease on each end and we are going to stitch 7 white beads. So you're going to start by picking up 2 white beads, skipping that first thread bridge, going into the second, and you have to stitch back through your beads so they sit nice and straight next to each other, because you don't want them to be all higgledy-piggledy, because that will make them more difficult to stitch into on the next row. And then we're just going to stitch 5 more white beads, which means in the very last thread bridge you only have to worry about stitching 1 bead into it. If that makes sense. I don't want to just read the subtitles to you. I suppose they're not subtitles, the directional notes, because that's the worst thing when somebody makes a PowerPoint presentation and then doesn't actually present you anything and just reads the PowerPoint presentation to you. Don't do that. It's not interesting. And that bottom bead is annoying, but I straighten it out at the end. Don't panic. So we're going to repeat what we just did. So pick up 2 white beads and go into the second thread bridge. Well, we're changing it slightly because we're decreasing by 1, but second thread bridge and decrease. And then you're going to attach 4 white beads going along. So once again, you only have 1 bead going into that last thread bridge of the row. Yeah, a PowerPoint presentation isn't meant to be your script. It's meant to aid what you are saying. It isn't actually meant to be what you're saying, you know? I'm sure a lot of you don't use PowerPoint because you're probably all done in school, but for those of you who aren't, I just thought I'd give you that little snippet of information. Okie dokie. So now we are going to increase on one end and decrease on the other end. So pick up 1 green bead and 1 blue bead, and you're going to go into that first thread bridge. And this is for the wee bun buns flower. So then you're going to pick up another blue bead, or whatever color you want your flower to be. And then we're going to attach 3 white beads, so we're only going to go into that last thread bridge once. So you're increasing on one end, which is why I've written increasing, but you're not increasing on the other end. I hope that makes sense. I didn't want to make it too confusing with the writing, so I'm hoping that my audio will help somewhat. So now we are going to increase on one end again. So pick up 2 white beads. Oh no, 1 white bead and 1 pink bead, apologies, and go into that first thread bridge. Now we're going to attach 1 white bead, and then 1 blue bead, or whatever colour flower you happen to choose, 1 yellow bead, and finishing off with 1 blue bead. So you only have 1 bead going into that last thread bridge, so you're decreasing on one side, increasing on the other side, the opposite way around to what we did last time. And that's the last confusing row, I think. So now we're going to increase on each end again, picking up 1 white bead and 1 blue bead, going into that first thread bridge. Once again, if your flower isn't blue, go with your flower colour, obviously. We're going to attach another blue bead and then a green bead. And there's an aeroplane going over. That's not annoying. It's because, yeah, we're in a flight path. And then attach 2 pink beads. Yeah, if you fly to Frankfurt and look out the window and see the cathedral, you can see where I live. It's very exciting. And then attach 1 more white bead. So we're going through that final thread bridge twice because we are increasing on both ends. And turn. So now we're going to decrease on both ends, or I'm going to have a sip of tea first, because that's what I'm doing then. Decreasing on each end, I'm going to pick up 1 white bead and 1 pink bead, going through that second thread bridge, decreasing as one does in the stitching of brick. Then we're going to attach 2 white beads for between the ears. I like this little bunny. I designed it to be a stitch marker, and then I still haven't put any stitch markers on my Etsy shop, which is 100% my fault, and I apologize. Yes, attach 1 pink bead and finish off the row with 1 white bead. And as I'm going through this, that bottom bead gets on my nerves, and I tug it and try and straighten it out, and it just doesn't work. So we're going to pick up 2 white beads, go through that second thread bridge, so we're technically decreasing, but we're only going to attach those 2 for right now. And then I'm going to pick up 1 white bead, and I'm coming out of 1 bead, I'm just going to go straight into the next bead, and this is me counting. So I'm going to go into the next bead and then down into the outside bead of the row below that, and then I'm going to weave up and down until I am coming out of the first bead at the other end, because I need to repeat it for the other ear. And make sure that your thread doesn't get hooked. If it does get hooked around, make sure you unhook it, because that's annoying otherwise, and have definitely been there, done that, finished off a project and then found that my thread is hooked and it isn't a good look. So now you're going to pick up 2 beads. You are going to go through the second thread bridge again and weave it and whatnot. Sew through it, unhook the thread. You're going to pick up another bead, and you're coming out of 1 bead. You're going to go down into the one next door to it, and then you're just going to weave in your working thread, which is the one that you're currently using. Don't weave in the tail just yet. We're going to come back to that one in a second to attach the final 3 beads. But as you're weaving in your end, make sure that you are following the pattern of the beads. You don't want to skip any out and have any thread where you don't want it to be seen. Thread should only be seen on the outside and nowhere else. So yes, so really on this one you can only really see the thread on the bottom of the bunny, and everywhere else it should technically be hidden if you were to increase and decrease properly, but that's okay. So then you're going to pull the end nice and tight and make sure that all the thread is hidden. You're going to snip off the excess using your scissors, and then you are going to go back to that bottom 3 beads. So thread your tail. I'm going to straighten up that bead. So I'm coming out of the second bead in the row. I'm going to pick up 2 beads. I'm going to skip that next thread bridge and go through the one that is directly in the center. Yep, and attach those as though I were just decreasing and sewing through them to straighten them up. And then I'm going to attach the next one as well. So 3 white beads at the bottom. Sorry, I went off shot there, and my goodness, the sun didn't know what to do with itself. It was so sunny here yesterday, it got up to 17 degrees Celsius. So now you're just going to weave in your tail, trim off the excess, and then you can use it for whatever you want to use it for. Very exciting. But yeah, it's cloudy and grey today. It isn't as nice. I was looking forward to an afternoon apple vine before going out this evening on the river, but it looks cold, so I don't really want to do that anymore. And apparently the rains are coming back. But I hear some of you in the States have a lot of snow, which baffles me. And also Canada has a lot of snow at the minute, which is crazy. Crazy. Anyway, this is the standard British thing where you're trying to fill time, so you end up talking about the weather. It wasn't intentional. It just kind of happened. But anyway, that's it from me. Back to you, Hannah. So there you go. It's a super quick make. It's really cute, and you could make them and stick them on greetings cards for little Easter cards, or even Mothering Sunday, which is coming up soon in Britain. It's the point. I need to make sure I post a card next week for my mum. But yeah, super cute. Like I said in the introduction, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and feel free to subscribe. I post a new craft tutorial every Sunday here in the Corner of Craft, and then every other Thursday I post a knitting and crochet podcast, and then the Thursdays in between I post whatever I fancy posting. We kind of play it by ear on this channel. Last Thursday's video was a vlog of my recent trip to Edinburgh for the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. So if that sounds like something that you would like to check out, stick around to the end and there will be an annotation for you to click and it will go straight to that video. A list of all the products that I use can be found in the description box below, as well as a link to where I bought them. And not obviously, but I'm not sponsored by either of the websites that I mentioned down there. That I just think they're a good source for Miyuki Delica beads, which are the beads that I like to use. Also in the description box is a link to my social media. So feel free to follow me on there for any regular updates and just to find out a little bit more about my life. Yeah. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I think that's everything I have to say. Yep. Thank you so much once again for watching, and I shall see you very soon in Thursday's podcast. Bye.